शरण में हम सदाचारी बने, ब्रह्मचिंतक धर्म रक्षक वीर व्रतधारी बने, ब्रह्मचिंतक धर्म रक्षक वीर व्रतधारी बने। हे प्रभो आनंद दाता ज्ञान हमको दीजिए। प्रेम से हम गुरुजनों की नित्य ही सेवा करें, प्रेम से हम गुरुजनों की नित्य ही सेवा करें। सत्य बोले झूठ त्यागे, सत्य बोले झूठ त्यागे, मेल आपस में करे। हे प्रभो आनंद दाता ज्ञान हमको दीजिए। निंदा किसी की हम किसी से भूल कर भी ना करें, निंदा किसी की हम किसी से भूल कर भी ना करें। दिव्य जीवन हो हमारा, दिव्य जीवन हो हमारा, तेरे यश गाया करे। दिव्य जीवन हो हमारा, तेरे यश गाया करे। हे प्रभु, हे प्रभु, हे प्रभु आनंद दाता ज्ञान हमको दीजिए, ज्ञान हमको। राम राम राम, राम राम राम, रघुनंदन है परंधाम। राम राम राम, रघुनंदन है परंधाम। श्री राम जय जय राम, 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 श्री राम जय जय राम। राम राम राम, रघुनंदन है परंधाम। रघुपति राघव राजा राम, रघुपति राघव राजा राम, पतित पावन सीताराम। श्री राम जय जय राम, श्री राम जय जय राम, श्री राम जय जय राम, श्री राम जय जय राम। राम राम, रघुनंदन है परंधाम। राम राम राम,
सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। मानस भज रे गुरुचरणम् मानस भज रे गुरुचरणम् दुस्तर भव सागर तरणम् दुस्तर भव सागर तरणम् गुरु महाराज गुरु जय जय गुरु महाराज गुरु जय जय स्वामीनाथ सद्गुरु जय जय स्वामीनाथ सद्गुरु जय जय। ॐ नमः शिवाय ॐ नमः शिवाय ॐ नमः शिवाय शिवाय नमः ॐ नमः शिवाय शिवाय नमः अरुणाचल शिव अरुणाचल शिव अरुणाचल शिव अरुणाचल शिव अरुणाचल शिव अरुण शिवो अरुणाचल शिव अरुण शिवो ॐ नमः शिवाय ॐ नमः शिवाय ॐ नमः शिवाय शिवाय नमः मानस भज रे गुरुचरणम् दुस्तर भव सागर तरणम् दुस्तर भव सागर तरणम्। बोलिए श्री सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की जय। My humble prostrations to one and all. यदा यदा हि धर्मस्य ग्लानिर्भवति भारत अभ्युत्थानमधर्मस्य तदात्मानं सृजाम्यहम्। Bhagavan says, whenever there is a decline of dharma, I take avatar. Though I am unborn, though I am deathless, but for establishing dharma, yuge yuge, at different times, I manifest myself, keeping the Prakriti under my control. And what do I do? Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkratam. Protecting the sadhus, destroying the wicked people. In this way, I do dharma samsthavana. So this we have seen in the previous class. Continuing, we will chant verse number 9. Janma karma cha me divyam evam yo veti tattvataha tyaktva deham punarjanma naiti mameti sorjuna. So Bhagavan says, Arjuna, me janma cha karma divyam. My janma, my birth, my karma, my actions, they are divyam, they are divine. Evam yaha tattvataha veti, the one who knows in reality this great truth, saha, such a person, deham tektva, giving up his body at the time of death, punaha janmana eti, he is not reborn. Then where does he go? Mam eti, he attains to me. So such a person who knows me, who knows the divinity of my birth, my action, such a person, he is not born again, he attains to me. This is the literal translation of this verse. Now let us see the verse in detail. So Bhagavan says, Arjuna, my karma and janma is divyam. Divyam means divine. So what does it mean? Bhagavan's janma is divine. Bhagavan's janma is divyam. So what is the divinity with respect to the birth of Bhagavan? The divinity is, Bhagavan is not like any jivatma who is born helplessly under the influence of Maya. No. So he is not, his birth is not the birth of Jiva, his birth is avatara of Ishvara. So this we have seen in detail in the previous classes, that Bhagavan takes birth keeping the Maya under his control. He chooses the body, he chooses the time, he chooses the duration. So he is Maya Pati. So his birth is not the birth of a Jiva, his birth is avatara of Ishvara. Conscious, deliberate descendants into this world. He may also appear like any other Jivatma with a physical body, but there is a huge difference. So that is why Bhagavan's janma is divyam, is divine. It's not human, it is divine. Right. So this is the divinity with respect to janma. Now what is divinity with respect to karma? Why Bhagavan's actions are called divine? Bhagavan's actions are divine because all those actions are not for himself. As far as he is concerned, he has nothing to gain in this world. So in the 3rd chapter, Bhagavan says, Name parthasti kartavyam trishu lokeshu kinchana nana vaptama vaptavyam varta eva cha karmani. Arjuna, I have nothing to gain in this world. All actions I perform, it is only for loka sangraha, for the welfare of the world. So all actions of Bhagavan, they are for dharma samsthapana, to bring peace and harmony in the world. It is only to inspire people to walk the path of righteousness. It is only to liberate people from the clutches of birth and death. It is only to give self-knowledge to the erring mankind. So this is the purpose. So therefore, the purpose is divine. So therefore, all actions which is born out of compassion, those actions which is done for the welfare and well-being of everyone, such actions are divine. So therefore, Bhagavan's action also is divine. So this is Janma Karma Chame Divyam. Bhagavan says, my birth is divine, my actions are divine. Now Bhagavan says, Evam Yaha Tattvataha Veti, the one who knows this in reality. Meaning, the one who knows me, my birth and my actions in reality. Such a person, he is not born again. Such a person becomes one with me. So, Tattvataha Veti, the one who knows in reality. Now, what is this knowing in reality? Knowing in reality means such a jnani, he never sees Bhagavan, though the physical eye is seeing the avatar of the Lord. His eyes are showing the avatar of the Lord, that physical presence, but a jnani doesn't see that God outside. He sees that Lord as the very self in him. Now this is called Tattvataha Veti. So who is Bhagavan? Bhagavan is not some other entity, some powerful entity which is separate from me, which is doing lot of things in the world. That Bhagavan is not a separate entity from me. That Bhagavan is my own self, who has taken a particular form to fulfill a particular need in the world. So that Lord is not somebody else, he is none other than my own self. Now this is called Tattvataha Veti. This is called as Tattvajnana, knowledge in reality. So that Lord is not somebody born to some divine couple, and then he is born, he is growing up and he is doing so many leelas. Some God is not some God, he is none other than my own self. This is true knowledge. So Bhagavan says, the one who knows me in reality as one's own self, such a person becomes free from birth-death cycle. And this is what we find in the stories of the Puranas, etc. In Ramayana, the story comes. So Vishwamitra Rishi enters along with Rama and Lakshmana into the court of Janaka Maharaj. So Janaka Maharaj comes, he prostrates to them. And the moment his eyes fall on Rama and Lakshmana, it is said his eyes got stuck there. His mind was so much attracted to these divine forms. For some time, he was arrested looking at Rama and Lakshmana. He was not able to withdraw his mind from them. And then he makes a statement to Vishwamitra Rishi. He says, "O Rishi, my mind never gets attracted to anything of the world. It is so dispassionate. My mind gets attracted only to the Supreme Self, only to Brahman. Now that my mind is getting attracted to these boys, these youngsters, it is very clear that they are not mere human beings. They must definitely be Brahman itself in human form. I am sure, because that is why my mind is getting attracted to them. This is the statement made by the Jnani Janaka Maharaj. And when Janaka Maharaj made this statement to Vishwamitra Rishi nodded his head. He said, yes, you are right. They are not ordinary human beings. They are none other than Brahman itself in the human form. Now this is called as Tattvataha Veti. Though the physical eye is seeing the Lord's form, Jnani knows that this form is not outside. The reality of this form, the essence of this form is not outside, it is right inside. It is the very self in me. Though the physical form is seen outside, the essence of that form is experienced inside. Isha darshanam swa atma rupataha, as Ramana Maharshi says. The vision of the Lord is not outside, the vision of the Lord is swa atma rupataha, is as the experience of one's own self. This is exactly what Bhishma Pitama also does. On the bed of arrows when he was lying down, the Uttarayana Kala heads, he was coming. So Bhagavan Sri Krishna comes to give his darshan to Bhishma Pitama. And when Bhishma's eyes fall on Bhagavan, Bhishma prostrated to Bhagavan mentally. And there in Bhagavatam there is a statement which says, Hridistham pujayamasa mayaya upatta vigraham. This is the statement made there. So what did Bhishma do when he saw Bhagavan's form? So when he saw this mayaya upatta vigraham, this form which Bhagavan has taken out of his maya, this external form, when Bhishma saw it, what did he do? Pujayamasa. He did puja. Of what? Hridistham. So though the form is seen outside, Bhishma knew that the essence of this Lord is Hridistham, seated in the heart. So therefore he worshipped that Lord, that external Lord, by worshipping that Lord as the very own self seated in one's own heart. Now this is called Tattvataha Veti. So such a person sees Bhagavan not outside but as one's own self. This alone is real knowledge, not mere Veti but Tattvataha Veti. What is the real understanding of the Lord? What is the real knowledge of the Lord? That Lord is my own self. Otherwise we read so many stories in Puranas. Lord was born to such and such couple, and then he did such and such leelas, he did all this, and then he withdrew that avatar. So many stories we know. That is only Veti. We know God, but not Tattvataha Veti. So if you have to know the real, if you have to gain the real understanding, it is only by knowing, by experiencing one's own self. It is only by the experience of one's own self that we can know God in reality. Now this is a great solace for all of us, because there are very many people in their ignorance, they say, we are so unfortunate that when Rama avatar was there, we were not there. When Krishna avatar was there, we were not there. So we could not, with our physical eyes, we could not see those avatars. We are so unfortunate, we have not done any punya, etc., etc. People lament, they complain. But then Once we gain this knowledge, there is no need to complain, because Bhagavan is always with us as our own self, as the very consciousness in us. This consciousness can never leave us. So actual experience of Bhagavan's presence is nothing but experiencing the presence of consciousness in us. This is the real experience, Bhagavan says. This is Tattva-jnana. This is real knowing of the true nature of Bhagavan. So this freedom is given to all of us. So such a person, tyaktva deham punarjanmana eti, such a person is not reborn again. Then what happens? Mam eti, he comes to me, he attains me. He becomes one with me. Bhagavan, what is the way? What is the procedure? What is the technique? What are the sadhanas to be done so that we can attain to this state? So that is the content of the next verse. Let us chant the next verse. Verse number 10. Vitaraga bhaya krodhaha manmaya mamupashritaha bahavo jnana tapasa puta madbhavamagataha. Arjuna, bahavaha, very many, madbhavam agataha, they have attained to my nature. Bhagavan, how did they attain to your nature? Arjuna, this is the sadhanas which they have done. What is the sadhana? Vita raga bhaya krodhaha. Vita, free from. Raga, attachment. Bhaya, fear. Krodha, anger. Freeing themselves from all these negativities of attachment, fear and anger. Manmayaha, full of me. Maya means full of, saturated with, full of me. Manmayaha. Mam upashritaha, taking refuge in me. Jnana tapasa putaha, putaha, purified. How did they get purified? Jnana tapasa, by the tapas of knowledge. In this way, very many bhavaha, very many, madbhavam agataha, they have attained to my nature. So this is the sadhana to be done to attain to the nature of Bhagavan, to become one with Bhagavan, and thus become free from birth, death cycle. So now let us see one by one. Vita raga bhaya krodhaha. This is the first term used by Bhagavan. What is our life? Bhagavan says, a person's life without God, without spirituality, without satsang, his life is raga bhaya krodhaha. This is how Bhagavan defines people without God in their life. Raga bhaya krodha. They are embodiments of raga, bhaya and krodha. They are embodiments of negativities of mind. So now we have to understand these terms. Every one of us in life, we are seeking these three things: peace, happiness and security. This is what we seek. This is what we helplessly seek. We seek it because it's our own nature. So all of us, whether spiritual or non-spiritual, whether theist or atheist, we are seeking peace, peace, happiness and security. Anything, any being any situation, vastu, vyakti, paristhiti, anything, any being, any situation which can give us peace, happiness and security, we will helplessly get attached to that thing. This attachment is called raga. Raga. Anything, any being, any situation which can contribute to my happiness, peace and security, I will get naturally, effortlessly, spontaneously get attached to that thing. This attachment is called raga. Nobody can escape. All our efforts in our life is only to acquire such things and preserve such things. So this acquisition is called yoga and preserving this is called kshema. All the efforts in our life which go to acquire such things and to preserve such things, all those efforts are called yoga kshema. So what is life? Life is nothing but yoga kshema driven by raga. There are certain objects, there are certain things, beings and situations which can contribute to my peace, happiness and security. Throughout my life, I am putting forth effort. I am striving hard to get them, to preserve them. This is life of any human being or even animals, plants, birds, etc. This is what we do in life. So, our life is raga prerita. Directed by raga, attachment. Now, wherever there is attachment, there has to be bhaya, fear. Bhaya is another expression of raga. So, whenever there is an uncertainty regarding acquisition or preservation of these things, which can contribute to my happiness, peace, security. Wherever there is an uncertainty, there is bhaya. Bhaya means worries, anxieties, fear, tension, strain, stress, whatever the name you may give. You are not sure whether you will get that thing or not. You are not sure whether you can preserve that thing or not. So that uncertainty leads to bhaya. Bhaya, fear. So, the intensity of bhaya is directly proportional to the intensity of raga. In fact, bhaya is nothing but raga itself in another form. Now, suppose you don't get it, then what happens? This bhaya becomes dukkha, sorrow. When you don't get it, the result is dukkha. The intensity of dukkha is directly proportional to the intensity of raga. So, dukkha also comes from raga. Now, when you experience dukkha, sorrow, naturally we become introspective. You will always find that when there is sorrow, we become introspective. We look within. We try to find the reasons for our sorrow. This is called as cause hunting. We try to find out, why am I suffering? Why am I sorrowful? So naturally, you find certain reasons. Oh, I did not get this. That is why I am suffering. But why I did not get this? Why did I fail to get this? Then you will find that, oh, because of this person I did not get that. Because of this person. So, the very same raga or bhaya or dukkha turns into krodha. Krodha means anger. It is because of this person that I did not get this. So what happens? The very same raga, your intense attachment to that thing turns into anger against the person who prevented you from getting that thing. So the intensity of krodha, intensity of anger is directly proportional to the intensity of raga. So you will find it is a very same raga which becomes bhaya, which becomes dukkha, which becomes krodha, and all such kinds of negative emotions. What is the root cause? Root cause is raga. Now, this is in general the biography of everyone living in this world without spiritual knowledge. Their life is raga prerita. Their life is raga maya, full of raga. Such a life is called self-centered life. Such a person is called samsari, the one who depends on the external environment for one's happiness, peace and security. He depends on samsara for his happiness, peace and security. So such a person is called a worldly person, a samsari, a self-centered person. But then, because of his punyas, whatever he has done, he gets satsang, he gets to listen to the knowledge of the scriptures. And in satsang, he comes to know this great knowledge. What is the great knowledge? The great knowledge is peace, happiness and security. You need not get it from the outer world. It is the very nature of the self. So therefore, what you must do? You must try to gain the knowledge of the self. It is already in you. So this knowledge he gains from satsang. And once he gains this knowledge, his life slowly, gradually becomes manmayaha, the second term here, manmayaha. Bhagavan, full of me. Maya means full of. So in satsang he comes to know that there is a way to put a full stop to all my miseries, sufferings, cravings, beggarliness. There is a way, and that way is to know one's own self, and this one's own self is none other than Bhagavan himself. So then what happens to his life? His life becomes a God-centered life. This God-centered life is called manmaya, full of me. Meaning full of priorities for me. Meaning his thoughts, words and deeds, they are directed towards me. Here me means Bhagavan. Me means Supreme Self. This is what happens. This is the result of satsang. This is the result of Shravana. Shravana and Manana, we can say. So he reflects upon the truths of the scriptures and he is convinced that God alone can put an end to all his miseries. So his life becomes Bhagavanmaya, not Ragamaya or Ahankaramaya. Bhagavanmaya or Manmaya. God-centered life. Now this is his understanding about life. He has got a correct understanding about life. Now how does it express itself in the external world? Through his BMI. So the next term is used, Mam Upashritaha. This is the expression of this new knowledge. What is the expression? Mam Upashritaha, taking refuge in me. Means what? Surrendering unto me. Means what? Allowing me to rule his life. Means what? Now, from now on, such a person lives a life to please God. Till now, he was living a life to please himself. Till now he was living a life based on his likes and dislikes. His life was ragadveshamaya. From now on, after this new knowledge, his life is not ragadveshamaya but manmaya. Manmaya means what? Now he performs actions to please the Lord. So the question he asks himself is, Bhagwan, are you pleased? So this is the essence of the third chapter, the previous chapter. Performing actions as a worship of the Lord to please the Lord. Now the question is, what are the things which will please the Lord? You will always find that erasing the ego will please the Lord. The one thing which Bhagavan loves the most is erasing the ego. So all actions where we perform selflessly, egolessly, Bhagavan is pleased. When actions are performed without ego and egocentric desires, Bhagavan is pleased. When actions are performed with humility, saying, Bhagavan, this life is yours, these abilities and talents are yours. With this attitude of gratitude and humility, when actions are performed, Bhagavan is pleased. When actions are performed, or say for example, charity is given without anybody knowing it, silent charity, Gupta Dana, Bhagavan is pleased. So everywhere where the ego is eradicated, the ego is dissolved, the ego is erased in all such actions. So on one side you are trying to erase the ego, on the other side you are remembering the Lord with all humility and gratitude. So your actions become a worship of the Lord. So every action where ego is erased and the Lord is allowed to play in full swing in your life, in every such action, Bhagavan is pleased. So holding on to Bhagavan, giving up all such ego and egocentric ways of thinking and behaving, when a person lives, Bhagavan says it is JNANA tapas. This is the austerity of knowledge, JNANA tapas. This is a name given. Why this name is given? This name is given because he is consciously, he is paying all attention to live a life of knowledge. Jnana is given importance. Why this spiritual sadhana is called JNANA tapas? It is called JNANA tapas because there is jnana involved, right understanding involved. What is right understanding? The right understanding is ego is an illusion, it is a non-existent entity. What exists is only God. This is jnana. This is right understanding. So every time I am trying to eradicate my ego, every time I am trying to dissolve my ego, I am walking the path of jnana. Every time I am trying to assert my ego, every time I am trying to assert my individuality, remember, I am walking the path of ajnana because I am strengthening the illusion in me. I am strengthening the ignorance in me. This is ajnana. So every time I eradicate the ego, I am walking the path of jnana. Every time I strengthen my ego, I am walking the path of ajnana. Now here, this person is trying to eradicate his ego. He is walking the path shown by God. Again and again he is remembering God. So this is the path of jnana. It is a tapas. What is tapas? Austerity is called tapas. So everywhere, wherever tapas is involved, struggle is involved. There is strain. You are walking uphill. living according to one's own egoistic likes and dislikes. It is very easy. It is like falling downhill. But eradicating the ego, it is very, very difficult. Struggle is involved because throughout our life we have always boosted our ego and we have lived. This is the way we have lived in the past. We have always lived to expand the ego. Now here in this path, you are puncturing the ego, eradicating the ego, dissolving the ego, erasing the ego, and it's a very, very difficult task. Therefore, Bhagavan calls it tapas, austerity. In every tapas, struggle is there. This is called as jnana tapas, a struggle where you are trying to live the realities of life. And what is the reality of life? Ego is an illusion, God alone is real. So every time I say, Bhagavan, I don't exist, what exists is you alone. I have misunderstood your existence as my existence, Bhagavan. So every time thoughts are entertained in this line, then that is called as jnana tapas. And this is the greatest tapas, says Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi. Ahamapetakam nijavibhanakam mahadidam tapo ramanavagiyam. Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi says this is the greatest tapas. What is that greatest tapas? That austerity where you are trying to eradicate the ego and you are allowing the Supreme Self to shine forth in your heart. This is the greatest tapas. And this tapas purifies you. Jnana tapasa putaha. Putaha means purification. This is real purification. This is real spiritual purification. Physically, if you want to get purified, take a bath. Mentally, if you want to get purified, entertain noble action, noble thoughts. But what is spiritual purification? In spiritual purification, you replace the ego with the Lord in your heart. This is spiritual purification. So, who is a really purified person? Really purified persons are called Mahatmas. Mahatma. So, they are not Jivatma, they are Mahatma. Who is a Mahatma? The one who has replaced the ego with the Supreme Self is called Mahatma. Replacing our heart with Supreme Self. Replacing the ego with Supreme Self in our heart is called Jnana Tapas. Now, whenever we use the term heart, understand it is the very core of our being. We are not talking of the physical heart. We are talking of the very core of our being, the center of our being. So, what is it that you are experiencing in the center of your being? So, an ignorant person will experience the egoistic self at the center of his being. His definition of I is the egoistic I. This is what he experiences in himself. What about a Mahatma? At the center of his being, he is not experiencing the egoistic I, but he experiences the Supreme I. And what is the nature of the Supreme I? Sat Chit Anand. So at the very center of his being, he experienced Sat Chit Anand. This is the new definition of I for a Mahatma. The definition of I, the experience of I is not I am a man, I am a woman, I am so and so. No. That is the definition of that is the wrong definition. That is the wrong notion. That is the wrong experience. There is an illusory experience of I. The true experience of I is I am Satchit Ananda Atma. Aham Brahma Asmi. So this is the result of jnana tapas. What should be the result of jnana tapas? Jnanam should be the result. Knowledge should be the result. So I gain the right understanding about I as Satchidananda. This is called Madbhavam Agataha. Bhagavan says such a person has attained me. So really speaking, we are never away from God because He is our own self. It is me, myself. It is the I in me. But then because of the ignorance about the ignorance of the self, so this ignorance of the self is called avidya granthi. Bhidyate hridaya granthihi chidyante sarva samshayaha, says Upanishad. So what happens when self-knowledge takes place? Bhidyate hridaya granthihi, the heart knot is cut as under, it is said. So what is heart knot? So impurity of the heart is nothing but avidya, ignorance of the self. And the product of this impurity is nothing but the ego, ahankara. So ahankara is the product of the impurity. So what happens through this jnana tapas? You become pure. So impurity and the products of the impurity, they are washed clean. So what happens? Ahankara goes away. Now what remains is only Paramatmakara. The egoistic aham is replaced by the supreme aham, the real I. This is called Madbhavam Agataha. For such a person, what is the experience? Vita, Raga, Bhaya, Krodha. That Raga, Bhaya, Krodha gone. Manmayaha, the mind is full of that supreme reality. He is saturated with that knowledge. He is full of that knowledge. He is full of the supreme I. So this way, that jnanis reach Bhagavan, become one with Bhagavan. So Arjuna asks, Bhagavan, such a great knowledge is there by which Jivatma can become one with Paramatma completely. Such a great knowledge is there in this world. Then Bhagavan, why is it that people are not seeking that knowledge? Such a great possibility is there that one can become infinite and immortal, becoming one with Bhagavan. Such a great possibility is there. Why is that people are not seeking that knowledge? This is one question. The another question is, okay, people are not seeking that knowledge, but at least you must force that knowledge to others. You could have done that. You can do that because you are Bhutanam, Ishwaraha, the Lord of this universe. You can do anything. So if people are not seeking this knowledge, it is your responsibility to force this knowledge upon them. Why you don't do it, Bhagavan? So answering these two questions, we have two verses. Verse number 11 and verse number 12. We will chant those verses. Ye yatha mam prapadyante tans tathaiva bhajamyaham mama vartmanuvartante manushyav partha sarvashah कांक्षन्तः कर्मणां सिद्धिं यजन्त इह देवताः क्षिप्रं हि मानुषे लोके सिद्धिर्भवति कर्मजा. So let us first take verse number 12 and then we will come to verse number 11. So verse number 12 answers this question of Arjuna. What is the question? Bhagavan, if such a great knowledge is there, why is it that people are not seeking this knowledge? So this question is answered in verse number 12. So we will see first verse number 12. So what does Bhagavan say? Arjuna, iha manushe loke, in this human world, karmanam siddhim kangshantah devataha yajante. All these human beings, they worship gods. For what? Karmanam siddhim kangshantah, desiring. What? Karmanam siddhim, the fruits of one's action. So desiring the fruits of one action, generally people worship the devatas. Why so? Karmaja siddhi kshipram bhavati. Because the results of action, they are immediate, kshipra. So this is the answer. So the question is, why people are not coming to the spiritual path? Very rarely we find somebody coming to spiritual path in this world. 99.99% of the people are busy in the world without spirituality. Why? So Bhagavan says, Arjuna, this is because they have no value for jnana, they value only karma. So therefore, naturally, instead of doing jnana tapas, they do karma tapas. Now what is this karma tapas? So every one of us, when we analyze life, we find that this peace, happiness and security, what is the way of getting it? We find in our life that when I work hard in life, I get this, isn't it? A student studies hard, and when he gets good marks, he is happy. When he gets good rank, he is happy. He is happy when others praise him, others respect him. So why is it that others are praising him, others are respecting him, and therefore he is happy? Why is he happy? He is happy because of his hard work. Hard work gives good results, and good results, this is called as karmanam siddhi. Hard work gives better results. Better results make me more happy. So therefore, if I want happiness, peace, security, etc., what should I do? I must work hard. So I understand the value of karma, working hard. In every field we find this. The sports people, they work hard. Now Olympics is going on. They have worked hard, and whoever has worked hard, they get Olympics medal. If you get a bronze medal, you are happy. If you get a silver medal, you are happier. If you get a gold medal, you are happiest. So the gradation of your peace and happiness has something to do with your hard work. Greater the hard work, greater the result, greater is your happiness. This we all find in our life. Whether you are a professional, you work hard, then you are promoted, you get better salary. Better salary means more money means more comforts, more luxury, more security. So therefore, everything is depending on this hard work. So therefore, in this world, people value hard work, because hard work gives results. Now this result is called siddhi here. So even when we go to gods, devataha yajante, even when we pray in front of so many gods, what is the prayer? Bhagavan, give me this, give me that. I have put forth effort in such and such thing. Please bless me so that I get better results for my efforts. Yajante iha devataha. So therefore, the point is, Arjuna, people understand the value of karma, but they don't understand the value of jnana. And because they understand the value of karma, naturally, throughout their life, they give importance only to karma. They become workaholic. They become workaholic, giving importance to work. They never become knowledge oriented. So they do karma tapas and not jnana tapas. Actually, this is born of ignorance. I agree. They don't realize the greatness of spiritual knowledge. Therefore, they don't put forth any effort in gaining spiritual knowledge. But then Bhagavan, I understand that they don't understand the value of knowledge, but isn't it your responsibility to force them to gain this knowledge? Being Bhutanam Ishwaraha, you must do it. And Bhagavan says, Arjuna, no, I cannot do it. Why? So come to 11th verse now. Ye yathamam prapadyante tans tathaiva bhajamyaham mama vartmanu vartante manushyaha partha sarvashaha. Arjuna, whatever they ask, I bless them with that. Ye yathamam prapadyante. Whoever comes to me with whatever desire, tans tathaiva am bhajami. I bless them with that particular thing. But Arjuna, mama vartma anuvartante. All people, they follow my path. Sarvashaha, by all means. Manushyaha mama vartma anuvartante. All beings are actually following the path laid down by me only. Now what does this mean? It means, Arjuna, there is a path laid down by me. Mama vartma, my path. And what is that path? The path is, in this world, everything happens slowly, steadily, in a rhythmic fashion. There is a slow, steady progress in evolution in a series of stages. This is how life is. This is how the world is designed. This is mama vartma, my path. In this world, everything has got a rhythm, a harmony. Every progress happens, every evolution happens in a slow, steady manner. So therefore, human evolution is also slow and steady. There are so many stages to pass before a person can come to self-knowledge. So therefore, I don't force anything on anyone. Whoever is at whatever stage, I bless that person in that stage. So this verse, more detail we will take up tomorrow. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramayah Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschid Dukkha Bhag Bhavet Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.
गोविंद हरे गोपाल हरे हे गोपी गोपबाला गोविंद हरे गोपाल हरे हे गोपी गोपबाला गोविंद हे मुरली